So we met at the farmer's market here in Miami, and we started talking. We were talking some fitness stuff, and then we got into a little bit like your story, telling me about traveling all these places, playing ball overseas, doing all this stuff. So what do we need to know about you to make sense of all the stuff you're doing today?
Oh, man.
It's kind of a loaded question, I know.
It is, but I'll unload it, man. I'll unpack that.
Okay,
right?
let's do it.
To know about me, you just got to know my life story.
Yeah.
You got to know where I come from, what I went through. You know, and that's why I'm currently doing what I'm doing, because I probably seem like an anomaly to most people, right? Because like what we were saying earlier before we started the cameras, you know, everything's about money. But in my case, kinda, right? Somewhat, not all things, right? And then, you know, people look at me and be like, look at you, man. You're supposed to have a lot of money in balling. It's like, yeah, but you haven't been through what I've been through, man. You haven't seen what I've seen money do to people, right? Like I have, you know, NFL people in my family and all that, and I saw how my family tore them down, right? I've seen how success brought on so much envy that brought on isolation. And it was like sad. It was like, why are you treating this guy like this?
Oh, no one talks about that.
Yeah, because why is he giving us money? Well, he's not supposed to give you his money. He made it. What do you mean? You know, I'm a young kid. I don't understand. But these adults like, oh, he's supposed to bail us out of our situation. No, he's not. Right? So, you know, and that's that's my oldest cousin who made it to the NFL. And, you know, his name's Lance Kearse. And I felt bad for him the whole time because I'm like, man, I just want to be like him. I don't want anything from him except for knowledge. But seeing him make so much money and have, you know, the closest people to him hate him because he didn't give his money away just willingly. It's not like they came to him with a business proposition and said, okay, here we go. We're going to make this and I'm going to give you back this. And then, no, it was give me money and then I spend it and give me more. Yeah. What? Like, what is that? And then from there, you know, playing sports and having sickle cell and nearly dying twice and almost losing my kidneys and being forced on anxiety medication because they didn't know it was sickle cell. And, you know, going through my psychotic issues with that and being removed from the team and them hiring a psychiatrist and he's messing with my brain. So a lot of stuff from the mental health to the physical health, that's what really started me on the path that I'm on. And that's why I speak how I speak. And it's kind of why I don't care about most things that most people do care about, right? Because when I was at my worst, people really didn't care, right? When I was at my best, my phone was cold. People were ringing my phone all the time. Oh, you know, he may go to the NBA. He may do this. He's a really good player. Then after that, it was like silence. Yeah. It's like, you know, people love you, and then they don't care about you because there's some interest in them. Like, oh, I know him, so therefore, you know, by me being associated with him, I'm a good person, right? But when you're not on that platform anymore, you really get put down. And you're like, damn, I don't even care being there because it's not about me. They don't like me. They like what I represent. Yeah. But that's life in general for men, though. Yeah. You know, we're valued by what we provide and the success that we've accomplished, right? It was so early in being put in that harsh environment. Like right now, I understand it. It's okay. I get it. It is what it is. But at 18, you don't get it. You're like, damn, I thought you loved me. Like, nah, it's not you we love, right? It's like, you know, one of those things like where I'm from, you know, a saying is, you know, no one cares about the labor pains. They just want to see the baby, right? They only care about the success. They do not care about what it took to get the success. And if you don't have the success, so be it, right? But no, I've got that dose of reality really quick, like really like thrown in my face. Like,
when was that? When did all that stuff happen? Was that in college? Or?
In college, yeah. Freshman year, working out, full body cramp. You know, nobody knows I have sickle cell and. Rushed to the hospital and all that, almost lost my kidneys, and then them hiring the psychiatrist, and then the psychiatrist.
Because they thought it was just like a super bad anxiety attack?
Yeah. They thought it was all in my brain. They told me it was a figment of my imagination that my body was doing what it was doing. And I was like, no, it's not. Like stop. They're like, no, you're just being soft, you're being weak, you're being a pussy. I'm like, what do you, me? Pussy? Me. I'm the strongest guy on the team. I benched 325 at 18 years old. I'm in the record book for, you know, the strongest while I was going through that, right? And I was one of the best players. My per 40, like if you take the stats and you stretch it out over 40 minutes and compare them to everyone else, I was top 3 on the team both years. and the only two above me either played in the NBA or high EuroLeague. So it wasn't like I wasn't a pushover at anything. You can go look at the stats, right? But yeah, man, it's just seeing that and then overcoming that, having to get IVs before the game, the oxygen tank during the game, and then me putting myself on like citrulline, malate, beta-alanine, L-carnitine, a bunch of different things. Me having to do the science, and like I say, I didn't have money when I was doing that. I was in college.
Yeah.
But I figured out how to fix my situation. So it was like, it's important to live with money, but it's like, if I got to fix my issues, I just fix my issues. Money has nothing to do with that. Yeah. Right? That's not part of the equation.
Yeah.
Right. But that's kind of why I'm who I am. And I'm a little weird, but you got to understand the scenario that made me weird. It's not like I chose to be.
Oh, I get
it. You know what I mean? It's
Dude,
not like
I totally get it.
It's not like I want to go to sleep at 9 o'clock
on
a circadian rhythm and eat at a certain time and sunbathe at a certain time. It's not like I want to. I have a situation where I have sickle cell.
Yeah.
And that sickle cell forces me to, it's an abnormal thing because most people don't have it. So I have to live an abnormal life. Mm-hmm. Not saying that I'm better or worse than anyone. I just have to live an abnormal life.
Yep.
And sometimes it doesn't play well to like partying and going out and drinking. You ever been in the club when, you probably didn't want to drink, and they're looking at you like, dude, what's wrong with this guy? Like, have you been in that situation?
Oh, dude, so many times, and I can very much relate to your story as well. Like, I got some really bad skin issues.
Yeah.
And then I kind of had to fall into that similar track where I was like, I didn't want to go to sleep at 9 p.m. I didn't want to have to focus on like grounding and eating whole foods and all this shit and avoiding drinking and going out. Like, but then you just fall into that situation, and then it becomes a part of your life. You end up kind of loving it, but yeah, you don't always want to be that guy that's like different in that way.
Yeah. So, one of the ways I overcame that was, I would go to the club and, I'll be out instead of the whole night. I'll show up at like peak time. I'll sleep before, right? Show up at peak time.
What time was that at in Miami?
Well, not necessarily Miami.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, you were traveling around a lot.
I was in Spain.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So peak time in Spain is like 2, 3 a.m.
I know. Shit's crazy out there, dude. I can't take that place.
Yo, I love it. Listen,
I know. It's a cool place. It's a beautiful place.
Listen, I'm one of the guys where I prefer to party outside of the States.
Yeah.
Outside of the States is great. The people are great. The interactions are amazing. They're genuine. Yep. It's fun. It's a vibe, right? So what I would do is after the game, let's say we played at 7 o'clock, game finished at 9:30. I would go back home, eat, go to sleep. So let's say from 10:30 to about 1:30, I'm asleep. So, I got a few hours under my belt.
Yeah.
I get ready, go out, go to the bartender. Hey, listen, man, let me get cranberry juice or
a little seltzer water.
That or what is it? Orange juice. Let me get some orange juice. Fake like I'm drunk.
Yeah.
Just messing around.
Just bringing some energy.
Yeah, just bringing energy.
Yeah.
Faking it like I'm drunk. So everyone's looking at me like, dang, bro. Oh, man. Yeah, he's having fun.
Yo, you were crazy last night.
Bro, I was sober as shit.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So that's when you were playing ball abroad?
Yeah. That's when I was playing in Spain.
Okay.
After I was told that I shouldn't play sports past 19 years old.
Okay.
I was 23 at that time.
So what happened in that time between like the 18-year-old when you first had that full body cramp to playing ball in Spain? What happened? Yeah.
So after 18, having that first full body cramp and almost losing my kidney, at 19, same thing happened.
And in that time period, were you thinking it was in your head, or was that just the thing that was being pushed onto you?
Yeah. So it's one of those things when it comes to mental health, right? It's when everyone but you are on the same page, you look weird, right? It's like a mad genius almost. Not saying that I'm smart or I'm a genius, but like a mad genius is like, why are you so different than everybody else? Why are you thinking this way? Right? You've been in that situation before, right?
Of course.
Why are you thinking this way? And if we're all on the same page, you should be on our page.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, because I'm stubborn. If my grandma could tell you, she has dementia, my grandmother. And if she could tell you, I was stubborn from the beginning, right? If I don't think it's right, I'm not going to do it, right? If it's cool, I'm going to do it, right? If I think it's, a legit thing to do. And there was a lot of pushback, man. I don't have those pressures from society to do what everyone else does.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that what everyone else does is wrong or right. I just want to do it my way. So when I die, I did it my way. I didn't do it the way everyone wanted me to do it. And when I didn't follow the rules, it was an issue. And then I just was like, you know what, just give me the pills.
Yeah.
Then I took them. Let me try them out. They may be onto something. Like I said, I'll always try things out. If someone is of authority and they have knowledge that I don't have, well, maybe you're onto something. I don't know. I tried it. The worst thing ever happened. I came off of them, had one of my best games. Told my coach, hey, I had one of my best games. No, you got to take it. What are you talking about? Did you see me? I was just balling. You wouldn't want me to duplicate that? No, I need you on those pills. I didn't know I couldn't stop cold turkey. It'll mess with your brain. Yeah. So I stopped cold turkey. Next game, the worst game ever. Right? So just going back and forth, they didn't know I had sickle cell. That's the one thing I got to let them let you know. No one knew I had sickle cell until 19 years old. Mm-hmm. So hired the psychiatrist. They forced the psychiatrist to tell me that it was a figment of my imagination, and that's when I went on the medication. And then it exacerbated the situation, so it made it worse, and then I went to the hospital again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we go to the next school. They found out I had sickle cell because they did an evaluation. Right? What do they call it? Before
like a blood test, or
yeah. But what is it? When every athlete has
a physical.
A physical.
Okay,
they did. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't remember that. They did a physical, and then they found out I had sickle cell. So it was like, okay, well,
was that big relief for you?
Very big.
Yeah,
very big, because it was more like I told you so. Yeah. Not even a relief. Yeah. Right? It was like, I told you. I told you what was going on with me. Like, you guys thought I was crazy. Yeah. Trying to convince my uncle, my mom that I was crazy. But I was able to pull myself out of that situation, and in the next school, they put me on the not severe anxiety. They put me on the IVs, and they put me on the oxygen tank, and they would test my pee. Nice. At the first school, I didn't practice really. I played Division I basketball, but I never really saw the court practice. But I got in the game and got buckets.
Yeah.
I was more cerebral than anything, so I had to watch game film and watch practice. And then the next school, same thing, but I felt myself getting better because I was treating myself with nitric oxide via citrulline malate, because citrulline is a precursor to arginine, which is a precursor to nitric oxide. So increasing that blood pathway via endothelial function, and eating a lot of antioxidants, beta alanine buffering pH, and L-carnitine boosting VO2 max.
And you were doing the L-carnitine like orally?
Yeah, orally.
Okay.
Yeah. Back in 2008, 2009, bro.
You injected yourself.
Yeah, what I mean? But I was doing all that stuff orally, and because my main thing was to increase oxygen flow and utilize oxygen at the best capacity as possible. And
do you still take those things?
No. I just rely on nature right now. Yeah. I try to do. When I get my arginine from
the sun.
Well, from the arugula sun. But there's a lot of arginine in chickpeas and different other various sources for nitric oxide. Amino acids, and then the citrulline itself is from watermelon rind, the white part. Yeah, man. Then I sunbathe, UVA. So. Yeah,
which is so good for the blood flow.
Exactly. Yeah. So once I started treating myself, and I'm a fairly dark guy. My inner arms are light, outside's dark, and the reason why that is because I sunbathe so much, right? Like I probably look 3 shades darker than I really am, but I found out that the darker from my base tone, I start to feel better. Right, not saying that I should be extremely darker, but a few shades darker. Just growing up in African American neighborhoods, there's a self-hatred amongst each other, and it's like you got to be as light as possible. It's like when it comes to nature, when it comes to health, that's not the truth, right? Everyone has to do a certain thing. It's just that the fear of being dark-skinned in Black in African American societies caused them to be unhealthy. It's the weirdest dynamic in the world.
Because it makes you afraid of sunlight, is what you're saying?
Yeah, they are afraid of the sun. And if you look darker than the week before, oh my God, you've gotten so dark. You got to get. It's like, come on, guys, like stop that. It's almost like, you know, someone, let's say from your community, where if they look pale, they're like, well, you got to get dark. It's like, come on, like chill out. Like that person can only get a couple shades darker than their baseline. You can't force them, right? And on the opposite side of the spectrum, you can't be too light. So you can't be too light, you can't be too dark, right? But, you know, we have these things in all of our societies, from all of, you know, society, from yours, mine, or wherever background we come from, where it kind of makes us sick because of our beliefs. Yeah. And it's the strangest shit in the world, bro. It's like, come on, guys, let's stop the BS, man. Let's just get healthy. All right, let's stop having, I wouldn't even say the government. I think it's just a system. Stop having the system control the mind to make you sick. You know how that goes, man. Yeah.
So when we first connected and you were kind of telling me a little bit about your story, you said you started to like really found relief when you focused on the sun. Yeah. What was like that come to realization? Yeah. Like what happened there?
Oh man. Yeah. So, you know, I was training with this guy. His name's Mr. Infinity. You know, he trains out there with ATG, Ben Patrick, knees over toes guy. Those guys are huge out there. You know, I started training with Ben Patrick in 2016, and then I come back like a year later, or a year and a half later, and I see Mr. Infinity here. Oh, well, his name was Derek Williams at the time. Yeah. Then I see Mr. Infinity. I'm like, hold up, like, bro, I know you, because I would see him, you know, out and about, and I would play against him at the LA Fitness and stuff. It'd be competitive. I'm like, bro, what's up? What you doing? He was like, man, I'm over here. I'm chilling. I was like, oh, so you're a trainer? He was like, yeah. I was like, I didn't know that. You know, I later found out his age. He's like, he's like 11 years older than me.
Looks young as hell.
So I'm 35. He's 46. But at the time, it was like I was 28, so he was 39. I'm like, well, hold up. What? He's like, yeah, bro, I sunbathe, man. You know, I just, you know, he's all smooth, bro. He's smooth dude, bro. Yeah. He's a smooth operator, right? Yeah, bro, I sunbathe. I get out there for a few minutes during the middle of the day. You know, I feel like I don't need to eat. I don't have to drink anything. I just need the sun. Like, it just fuels me. I'm like, what? You know, I had read about, you know, Tesla, and he was talking about how everything after the sun is just recycled sun energy. So plants is just recycled sun energy. The animals you eat is recycled sun energy. It's just the second part of it. Like skip the middleman and go straight to the source. And he was like, yeah, that's what I do. I was like, what? I was like, sounds crazy, but let me try it. I go home, look it up. I'm like, you know, nitric oxide and sunbathing. Oh, heliotherapy? What is heliotherapy? Oh, heliotherapy is a real thing, and they've been doing this for centuries? Oh, hold up. So all I need to do is go outside in the middle of the day so I can get vitamin D from UVB, UVA, so I can release the nitrite that's in my skin, so I can get nitric oxide, so I can get vitamin D and nitrates and power my mitochondria for more energy. I'm like, hold up, time out. This man is onto something. And once I figured that out, that was the missing link, because I already knew about sleep and, you know, diet and hydration and stress management for cortisol. I knew about all that stuff. Yeah. Right? I knew about exercise. I knew about that. I was missing the sun. That was the last part. Man, oh my God, I started feeling crazy, man. I started feeling amazing. I'm talking about, I took off 5 years after I played my first year in Spain and got cut by the Jaguars. I took off 5 years, and then I went back to play in Spain. That year before I went back is when I met him, is what I'm telling you. I started doing everything that I had just now learned with the sunbathing included. Oh my God. Playing full games, no IVs, no oxygen tank, don't practice every game. Like, yeah, it was different. I was a different human being. I was like, dude, this works. This works. Like, I started coming across herbs and stuff. 2016, I found out about Dr. Sebi and all that. Taking a bunch of sarsaparilla, which is high in iron, because you need iron for the oxygen, right? For the hemoglobin. Oh man, my life changed. You know, that 2028 year. Oh man. Thank God that I met Derek. If it wasn't for him, man, I would probably I would still be confused, right? You know, I wouldn't be as competent. right? You know,
Yeah, going back to what we were talking about before.
Yeah,
before we hit record.
Competence is key, man.
Yeah,
absolutely,
bro. That's insane. It's so cool, and the crazy part about all this stuff is like, it's almost so. I feel like intuitive is the wrong word, but like simple.
Yeah.
But yet, you never hear people talk about sunlight with sickle cell or really any of these things.
Yeah. No, there's nothing out there that talks about sickle cell, sunlight, sunbathing, or just stress management. Period. Keeping cortisol low. There's nothing about that, because how do you make money off that?
Yeah.
Right. Like, you can't. Oh, just go outside. No. You got to sell people a sauna or infrared, short wave, middle wave, long range. Right. You gotta sell that stuff. Right. The biohacking is like, you can hack yourself naturally. Biohack yourself. Like with nature hack yourself, right?
Literally every biohack is just trying to mimic nature in some way.
There we go.
Like almost all of those things.
That simple.
Yeah.
Literally that simple. But I think as people, we're so far from nature that we want complexity. We want it to be, that sounds too easy to be true. Well, because easy comes with consistency. And people don't like consistency.
Yeah, that's the hard part right there.
They don't like to do the same thing every day and have a schedule and hold themselves accountable. That's the hard part, not the actual sunbathing, not the actual eating clean and eating unprocessed. It's the everyday schedule, doing what you're supposed to do. No, man, people they want life to be convenient so they can indulge in their pleasures, their simple pleasures, so they can tap into that dopamine, the cheap dopamine. Hey, be my guest. Good luck.
Something that I realized when I was like, really focusing in on like what we were talking about before, kind of saying no to a lot of those cheap dopamine desires to focus on the health stuff, is you realize like how much of a focus like most people's lives are on these other things, and it almost like has to teach you like some sort of like emotional control or all these like more psychological components. Because you have to learn to like cope with that whole new world. It's an interesting component there that like by focusing on the physical, you kind of like sharpen the mental.
Yeah. No, it's a cycle. You know, it's the brain affects the body affects the brain. Right. Once you manipulate one thing, it manipulates all things. Just like how they say the way you do one thing is how you do all things, and that's just how the body works. If I exercise, my brain is healthier. If I sleep better, my brain, my body, my relationships, my way of communicating is better, right? If I, take out certain habits like, gaming too much, right? Well, now I have better communication skills and I understand how to, it's not going to affect my brain to a point where my dopamine is being triggered too much, right? It's being triggered at the right amount. But a lot of us, our issues do come from our need for that quick hit of dopamine, and that's the instant gratification that we have to delay. We have to delay it. We can't just continue to indulge in it. And I'm not only bringing up things about men, right? Because gaming is more of a man's thing, right? Because we feel our sense of worth after accomplishing something hard and moving up in the ranks, right? On the woman's side, Instagram, TikTok likes after posting an easy picture of like, hey, look at my body. Right? That's a dopamine hit. And I see a lot of women are now going away from that because they didn't work for it. Right? Like there's no real like outcome, like external outcome of like, did it make you a better person to be in a relationship? Did it give you better skills? Did it give you better social skills? Like we were talking about off camera. We didn't gain more competence or more knowledge and become more aware and better at our physical skills because of a post on Instagram or playing video game, or a lot of men masturbating for 3 hours or something like that. You don't become better in life. I'm not downing anyone who does any of that stuff, because we all go through our stuff. But we have to allude to the things that are giving us issues, and most of our issues are from that cheap dopamine.
Have you found like something that I kind of realized with myself is like, I thought like by being the guy going to bed super early and eating healthy and just like being different by nature, that would like deter people away from me. But it was the opposite. It like makes you, because you're your own person and you're going by the beat of your own drum versus what everyone else is thinking, like it almost makes you like a magnet towards people. Do you kind of notice that with yourself and when you were going through all that?
Absolutely. So you know, you talked about your skin issues, and I'm pretty sure you went through a process of that, right?
Yeah.
And when
slow, long process, ups and downs.
When you go through that process in the beginning, people do go away from you because those are the people that are around you. That's who they know, right? And it's one of those things where when you change yourself for the better, the people who know you by who you were, they run away from you. And then people who see you and they look up to you like, I want to live a life like him. They come towards you. So it's that period. So both things happen at the same time, you know.
Such a good point.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
true. Yeah. It really does happen that way. Like at first, those people who knew you as the person beforehand, they're like, what the hell's going on? And it kind of like deters them. But then there's like you were saying before, once you kind of meet new people and they just like accept you how you are, there's that whole other side of the equation.
Yeah. You know, you got to go through that period of being that black sheep.
Yeah.
Right. You got to go through it. You got to go through the, he's weird, he's changed. You got to go through that.
Yeah.
You know, we're never going to be, if you are a person that change yourself and you become the change you want to see in the world, people will change around you, and then people is just going to leave and come and go, and then people are going to play their proper position. I think someone told me this, but they were like, you know, be who you are so the people who are looking for you can find you.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right? It's like, what? It's like, okay, yeah. So,
Bro, it's so true. It's like, you ever hear that concept from Jordan Peterson where he talks about like, if you want to save the world, clean your room.
Yeah.
And it's just like that. Like, it's like by focusing on like yourself and getting better personally, you just put yourself in a position to help so many more people. Like, I'm sure so many guys come up to you and ask you for advice about things, and you can genuinely help them because you have these skills and you're competent in that domain to be able to give them advice to change their life dramatically. Versus if you weren't that guy, no amount of volunteering will be able to like change that.
Yeah. And a lot of people who, you know, we live in a society today where a lot of people do want to help, but they don't have that experience.
Yeah.
Right, of actually changing and going through the process of change, because change is
teaches you everything.
You ever seen someone lose 100 pounds? Like they were obese and now they're like in shape. You're like, what? Like, you know, something had to click in that person, right? So that period of change, that person had to learn a bunch of nuance concepts in between, because you can go on Instagram or you can go on YouTube and you can listen to someone, all right? Or you can read a book. But there's nuances that you just can't like voice with words, right? There's just like little things that you can't
articulate or
like you can't measure. You can't measure it, right?
Yep.
But when you went through it, you know the feeling. It's like what's understood doesn't necessarily need to be explained. You just do it, right? And you know, it's one of those things. It's like, you know, people typically, they see you because they see that, hey, this person knows something that's so nuanced that no one's ever touched on that topic. Like, how do you know that? I know you've seen something. No one talks like that, right? You know, I think that's the thing that really brings, you know, joy to people who've really been through that process, right? So,
yeah, those little details, there's things that like aren't transmittable through an Instagram post, but only through going through that thing that you can really like. I don't even know what it is, really. It's just like little kind of things that you have to figure out on your own because they're not transmittable. Like these little hacks that are almost personal to you that like help you figure out little things there.
Yeah. What are some of your hacks?
Oh man, I would say the biggest one is. It sounds so dumb, and I know you're gonna agree with me on this one, but just like sleeping well. Yeah. It's like everything else falls into place. I'm less hungry. My craving for healthy foods is so much higher. I don't have like this huge need to eat unhealthy or like big desire. And then I feel like everything else kind of falls into place. Like I want to be working and I want to be exercising. I want to be going outside and being in the sun. Like everything else kind of falls into place when my sleep is right. But then when I'm sleeping like shit, everything else is a bit harder. So it's kind of like that fundamental block, I think, for me that everything else kind of builds off of. What about you?
Well, you know, sleep is, so me personally, I've narrowed it down to 7. I call it the 7 natural doctors. right? Sleep is, 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I apologize, bro. Sometimes that phone don't stop ringing.
I feel you.
Yeah, that's how you know you're getting older. People depending on you, right? But so I narrowed it down to 7. I call it the 7 natural doctors. Sleep is very important. Sunbathing, right? And keep in mind, it's all about routine, right? When you fall into a routine, your whole life falls into a routine. Sleep, sunbathing, diet, limiting the processed foods, like I said before, water, and that can come from a couple different things. Being near water, drinking clean water, getting it from fruit, right? Because that's natural, filtered water already. You know, the tree did it for you. Nature did it for you. Coconut water. Having a certain level of hydration. Humidity, right? So that no influenza can travel, right? 2020. Yeah. Exercise, stress management, right? And what was that? Was that 7 or 6?
I think that was, and then sleep.
And then sleep, yeah,
which is the 7th.
Yeah. So
dude, it's that thing that's like, it's simple, not easy. Like we kind of already iterated that, but like those things, they're so simple, but like you're saying before, they're hard to actually execute consistently.
Yeah, a lot of people now that we're stuck in creativity and create the plan, but now it's time to execute. We know we have too much information now, bro. And we all know what it takes to make ourselves healthy. Like I can't tell you what it takes to make you healthy. Right? It's how do you remove those things that block your attention? Right? How did you get that out your way? Is it too much time on Instagram? Okay, well you got to be in there because you work on there. Well, set a timer.
Yeah.
Right? Or force yourself to post and get off. Check your comments, like, respond and get off, right? Don't start scrolling on other people's page. Don't start scrolling through the story. Don't start hearting and liking everything you see, right? Yeah. Do what you got to do and bounce, right? Because it's like a black hole.
Oh, it's such a black hole.
It's like quicksand. You get stuck in that thing.
And then it's like comparison's a thief of joy too. Like there's so much desire that just stems from scrolling on Instagram too much.
Yeah. No, that cheap dopamine hit, man.
Yeah. So what are you doing with the documentary?
Oh, yeah, man. Documentary. Oh, man. Thank you for asking me about that. That's my pride and joy, man. This is taking me about 16 years to make. Man. So we're going to add 2 more people. You've seen the trailer already, right?
Yep.
We're going to add an NFL player, the one who got me the trial with the Jaguars. He played for the Tampa Bay Bucks. His name's Ernest Graham. We're going to add Dr. Aruna. She's a psychologist. A psychologist. We're going to add her as well to talk about the mental side of it because it's not just physical, right? It's a mental side that actually happened, the manipulation, the processes, the system, how it works, what they put you through. So we're going to have her talk about that. But we're going through a whole process of people dealing with sickle cell trait because it's based on sickle cell trait and athletes that have passed, that have died, that have perished from sickle cell during playing time, like college athletes, athletes that made it to the NFL. One like Ryan Clark, who lost 60 pounds in a gallbladder playing Denver High, Colorado. We're going to touch on my life and my story of what I went through. Mostly have other people talk about it and not myself, right? Because it's better to have people talk about your situation and you talk about your situation. And even if I were to talk about it, it would probably be boring as shit, bro, because I can't remember certain details because I was living in it. And sometimes your brain blocks you from remembering the harshest parts of it so that you can protect yourself and continue to move forward. But, you have some people that are on there saying certain things, like some of my coaches or, Larry Sanders, who played in the NBA, things that I forgot. I don't know if I'm just trying not to remember it, but I just like, oh yeah, it's nothing. But for them, they're like, dude, we saw you on the ground. We saw you struggling. I was like, yeah, but yeah. And that's why it was hard to make it. Because I don't want pity. Yeah. I don't believe in pity.
I feel that.
Like for myself, like, come on, man, I'm okay. I'm good. I promise you. My life is 30 times better because I went through what I went through.
And that's a detail that so many people miss.
Yeah.
It's like the obstacle's the way, dude.
Yeah. Every obstacle is necessary, right? Like you have to go through it to get to it, right? And I don't, you know, I don't have any resentment towards anyone, none of the coaches, none of the doctors. I don't have resentment to anyone personally. I have resentment towards the system.
Yeah.
No, because we're all parts of a system.
Yeah.
Either you play it or you don't, right? And anyone who played it, listen, I understand you got families to raise, you got to make money. That's how you're making money at that time. I'm okay with that. Yeah. But am I going to talk about what happened to me and talk about those people as playing parts of a system? Yes, I will. I'm not going to hold back anything from anyone. Am I mad? No, not at all. Yeah. I knew I was right then, and I know I'm right now.
Yeah.
Right? So why would I be mad? Right?
It's just a messed up system, just a faulty system.
Oh yeah. Well. I'm not trying to disagree with you or anything, but
go.
I don't think it's faulty per se. I think it was made this way to be this way.
The incentives are messed up.
Yeah. That, right? Because what else do you do? Like, how can I now make money by telling someone you should go to sleep on time? Or you're getting 6 hours? Get 7 and a half, 8. Watch your life change. No, there's no money in that.
Yeah, they're not going to be a patient anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not mad at the person. I'm mad at the system and the person that played the game. It's like, don't hate the player, hate the game. That's basically how I approach it. I don't hate the player. And, it's much easier to tell someone, hey, take this anxiety medication. That should straighten out your brain. That should fix your life. They told me, Lance, if you take this medication, it'll level out your life. You won't have peaks and valleys. It'll be smooth sailing. I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Until my body hurts, man. You talking about my brain? It's like, no, we think it's this, and it'll be smooth. No more ups and downs. Just coast. And I'm like, no, man, I'm good. I'm passing on that. It's something else. But yeah, man, it's we're understanding the system for what it is and taking it for what it is. And I'm just talking and I'm speaking on behalf of someone who's been through the system and understand how it operates so I can tell other people how it operates. Listen, if you don't want to take accountability, please rely on the system. If you don't want to be someone who's on top of your stuff every day, if you're not diligent about your life, use the system. But if you are diligent and you have accountability, you do not necessarily need the system. If you have a chronic issue, you don't necessarily need the system. Yeah. Right? If you have an acute issue, you need an amputation, you got shot, got stabbed, use the system. Yeah, I will use the system.
Yeah.
Right?
They're good in acute issues, not as good in chronic issues.
Yeah. And I think that what's going on with the industry is that they don't want to lose their grip on being the savior or the God. Right? I think the system has a God complex and they don't want to lose that. So if they were to tell people the truth about how, hey, listen, we're limited. We're capped out to just acute things. We don't really know how to treat you chronically. They'll lose a lot of people. Yeah. So you mean to tell me you don't have a pill to fix all my issues? Yeah, we did have it before, but now we're telling the truth and we really don't. What we're basically doing is we're giving you a pill to allow you to continue to do your bad habits. And the more your body gets used to it, you're going to need a higher dosage.
Yep. And then that's going to have all these side effects that could be worse than what you were going through to begin with.
Yeah. That's it, man. The minute they tell the truth about their capabilities and their limits, then people are going to be like, oh, so what were you doing this whole time? That's why they can't tell the truth. The lie has to be upheld. Because if you tell me the truth now, well, how long have you been lying? Well, since the inception. Oh, for real? So why should I believe you now? You see how the brain works?
Yep.
So you can't, once a lie is told, you got to keep telling a lie. You got to, right? And is it the people? No, it's the system.
Yeah.
Doctors went to school to help people. They didn't know that they were going to get into a situation where this person is mineral deficient or something. They've been mineral deficient for a long time, and you have to prescribe them a diet that's going to fix their mineral deficiency. But they haven't been trained in diet. Yeah. They don't know food. They can't tell you what's 9 ounce, how many calories are in a gram of protein, carbs and fat. They don't even know that. They can't even tell you stuff like that, right? So I don't know. Their nutritional knowledge, it suffers. And a lot of things is from, what you eat. What does Hippocrates say? What was the famous quote from Hippocrates?
With like all disease starts in the gut, that one?
Yeah, or like, let food be thy medicine.
Yeah.
Right?
He has another one too that's so good. I think it's like something along the lines of before helping someone, make sure the person like wants to be helped or is ready to be helped or something.
Is willing to let go of what made them sick.
Yes,
That's
so good.
Yeah. That and he said something about you're a fool if you're not your own doctor.
Yeah, he's a genius.
Yeah. But think about it. It's Hippocrates, right?
Yeah.
Every doctor takes the Hippocratic oath.
Mm-hmm.
How can someone have all this knowledge about helping yourself, and you take the Hippocratic oath, which is basically after him, right? But you don't know anything about helping people chronically with just natural things, right? It's like,
it's crazy. It's a whole career. I was actually, what's so funny is I was having a conversation yesterday. I have a good friend who's a doctor. Yeah. But he's super into all this stuff, like on his own, research and all this stuff. And he's in LA in California. And the way the state medical system is there, if he were to because he works in like a hospital and stuff, he sees a lot of patients. If he were to see someone with like a chronic issue and be like, hey, I don't think you should take this medication. I think you should really focus in on the diet stuff. If they go to the board, he could lose his medical license. So he's like, I want to be telling people about like XYZ supplement and telling them that they should be eating whole foods and doing this thing. He's like, but I went to medical school for 8 years and like it cost me a lot of money. I don't want to lose my medical license.
I want to start my life all over.
Yeah. He's like, so I hint at it. But it's hard to kind of like to practice how I actually want to practice. And what's weird about that is it makes like a really good health coach almost for like chronic issues, almost better than a doctor, because the health coach, if they're good at what they're doing, they could give you advice that the doctor is afraid to give you, or
just barred from giving you.
Yeah, barred. Right? From
not even afraid.
Exactly.
They're just blocked from doing it.
Yep.
Because it's a conflict of interest of their whole life.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to feed your kids after you've been through school for 12 years and spent all this money? And now you're just going to say, I'm just going to drop it and do what?
Yeah.
Do what at that point, right?
So
I feel sorry for the doctors. I feel bad for them, right? And, some of them respect me. I've spoken on panels with doctors and stuff. They respect me because of what I went through and what I know. A lot of them resent me because it's like, oh, I took this long in school and I figured out all this information. How do you know more than me? It's like, well, I have the actual experience of going through the BS, right? I know
practitioner, not a teacher.
Yeah. I've been through it. I've saw it. I've seen it. I saw the system and what they say and what they do and how they twist the words and make it look like this. And it's like, how can I have so many issues prior to 2008, 2009, take myself away from everything, right? Everything I knew. I wiped my brain clean slate, empty canvas, filled my brain, painted everything that I needed to paint, and put the right things and the proper things and put things in proper perspective. Took away bad habits, put in good habits, right? I haven't been to the hospital since. I haven't needed a medication since.
And I'm sure you were there a lot more before.
Yeah. Flying. Like, I suffered as a child. I was cramping up and tired and sick. I couldn't even run a mile in the 5th grade. My body just wouldn't operate properly. What'd
you think was what'd you think was going on?
I didn't know.
Yeah, you just thought you were like in bad shape.
I knew I wasn't in bad shape.
Yeah, but I
just was like, I just can't breathe.
Yeah.
I thought I had asthma. At one point, they gave me asthma pumps and stuff. Yep. I went through so much stuff, man. Yeah. I've missed time in school because I got sick more often. If you don't have proper functioning blood flow, healthy red blood cells, you can't get hormones. You can't get nutrients, water, oxygen. You can't get nothing through the body. You're going to get sick. You're malnourished at that point. Your body is malnourishing you. And that's what I was going through. And no one could tell me I was sick all the time and weak. And now it's like, I just fixed the problem. Yep. But now I'm a weird guy because I didn't do it the way everyone else does it.
Yep.
And we're going to bring it back to the beginning. I didn't do it the way that everyone else did. I'm weird. Oh, okay. Well, continue to believe that. I have a whole documentary telling you that I'm not weird. And I have 13, 14 people vouching on my behalf that I'm not weird. I have people telling you how I struggle and when I struggle and when they knew me at that point. Then I have people saying the complete opposite. That something that completely diametrically opposed what that first person was saying. And it's like, oh, no, I'd never seen. No, he was good. He was healthy. He was the strongest guy I've ever seen. Oh, but he was weak. He was the weakest guy. How can you live two lives at the same time? Right? It's weird because you have people talking about you on one platform this way and then another one another way. You're like, dude, those were both me at one point. Yeah. You know, I took it upon myself and fixed myself. Like, you know, I'm not.
So if you were to go to a doctor and they find out you have sickle cell, what do they recommend for you?
Well, you know, what'll happen is they'll find out I have sickle cell trait, not sickle cell disease.
Okay, yeah.
And then they'll tell me that it's benign.
And that's just the gene of sickle cell?
Yeah, a carrier, someone who can carry it and create someone with that to have sickle cell disease. They would tell me that it's benign, that I shouldn't worry, there's no issues. I would never cramp up, nothing. So essentially, they say sickle cell trait has no issues and sickle cell disease has all the issues. That's not the case. People with sickle cell trait face complications. But there's a lot of people who've died, and that's what the documentary is about. We're trying to show people that, hey, listen, you can have a trait and you can be whatever. You can be white, you could be Turkish, Italian, Asian, Indian, black, you can be anything, Hispanic, and have sickle cell trait. It's not just a African American thing or African thing. It's the way people migrated throughout history. It's very complicated, right? Because people just move and do things, right? We're not all one race. Like, we're all mixed, right? My breakdown, I'm 85% African, 15% European. My great grandfather's from Scotland. I'm Jamaican. In Jamaica, we did it completely different. Yeah. There was no segregation and not everyone mingled. Like, it's one group of people, right? So I'll tell people, yeah, I'm Irish. What? I'm Scottish. Yeah, I have people from Wales. I'm Northern European. What? You're French? I'm Portuguese. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, it's different in the islands. It's not America. It's a melting pot, right? But having to explain that to people is like a hard thing because America did history weird. Yeah, America's weird, man. Like, but let me finish the thought. What happens is people intermingle, they mix, they migrate, and then you take genes on, right? And what happens is people had sickle cell have they say it's not a genetic mutation. It's natural. Nature selected for people to have sickle cell because of malaria. So if I get bit by a mosquito, I have a 60% chance of surviving that bite and living, right? And think about it, malaria was in a lot of places. So if I now go to other places, well, of course your body sometimes is gonna favor that gene because it wants to live. So they're gonna pick up copies of something and say, okay, if I get bit, you're gonna be good. Yeah. Right. And that's just how natural selection works.
Yeah. It was like an adaptive trait at one point.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is. But what happened was people didn't know that you shouldn't take two people with sickle cell trait and have a baby, because most likely it's going to create sickle cell disease. And that's what happened. You have people continue, because people, you typically procreate within your same tribe, right? So if you don't know, you're going to just continue to procreate in your same tribe. But the thing is that people in that region of the world, they're going to be able to survive because nature selects for people to have certain traits in certain regions. If sickle cell disease was that bad, all the people would be gone. Yeah, because nature would just wipe it out. The environment allows for people to survive. You move people with sickle cell disease away from the tropics, good luck. Environment determines gene behavior.
Yeah, because they need that sunlight.
There we go.
Yeah.
Back to it. You see how it works? You see how we double back?
Yeah.
Right?
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So now when people are migrating with that trait to other places that aren't getting as much sunlight, then it's a much more destructive
there we go.
thing.
There we go.
Shit.
And that's the process, bro. That's why I talk about environment, genes, phenotypes, right? That's why I talk about the nose, the nose width, the hair, you know, how it looks a certain way, how some hair drops to cover the neck to keep you warm. Some hair grow up to create a buffer or a bucket cap or umbrella to block the shade from not hitting your head, but still exposing the neck to cool off the body. Like everything works the way it's supposed to work. Our whole body is a manual, and it's telling you to do certain things and to interact with nature a certain way. But yeah, man, once you really think about it, you're like, damn, dude, this shit all works. Yeah. Like, who created this?
Yeah, dude, it's a crazy conversation.
Yeah,
it's like the body, even what seems like a mistake, isn't a mistake. Like it's adapting to a behavior. Yeah, like it's just it's like a way of trying to keep you safe.
Yeah, the poison and the antidote is from the same environment. Yeah, the disease and the cure is from the same environment.
Yeah, and then nowadays, like in our artificial world, we're able to kind of a lot of these things that are maladaptive and like there's like we have the medical system to kind of keep these things alive that kind of wouldn't be, which is
you skip the natural process.
A bit, which is crazy.
Good luck.
Yeah.
You know, my belief is, you know, the further you move from nature, the closer you move towards disease.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether that's all 7 of those natural doctors that you said, like that's how you get that state of disease.
Yeah. It's in a dis-ease or disorder. Like, just gotta put things in order. Right. Like, you know, when you were a kid, you used to play with like the little like it would have a square, it would have a triangle cut out, and you would have like a triangular prism.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
we're trying to put the triangular prism in the rectangular prism, and it's like we're trying to mash it in there, and it doesn't work. You gotta put it in its proper perspective.
Yeah,
and that's what we're doing. But it's okay. We'll figure it out one day,
bro. It's so funny that you say that because when I was in college and I was doing like I had to take like an accounting class.
Yeah,
and at first I was like. I after a while I was like I kind of really like this.
Yeah, debits
and my mom was like, why do you like it? Yeah, debits and credits, all that shit. Yeah. And I was like, it kind of reminds me of the health stuff because of exactly what you're just saying. It's like you fit in one thing super upstream is affecting the end result down here, and you have to go kind of back and figure out what exactly it is, and then once you fix that, it fixes the end result. And it's like it's almost like everything goes back to like being a bit of a puzzle.
Yeah. That was my first major, by the way.
Yeah,
accounting. Yeah, bro, I loved it. Yeah. I love it. I had to when I transferred, I lost 21 credits, so I had to change it. Fucking hate that.
Yeah, 21 credits is a lot. That's
bro. I had to do life all over again.
Yeah, what is that? Like a year and a half of school?
Something like that. Oh, but I was so far ahead when I transferred, so I was like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I had like 41 before my sophomore year started.
Damn.
Yeah, because I did summer school. I didn't go home.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck home. Like, I just want to get out. I want to make money. I want to get to the real life.
You were focused on it.
Yeah.
So how'd you end up playing football?
Oh, man. So football's been in my family forever.
Yeah.
like I said, I have a cousin named Lance Kearse the Freak. He played for the Titans and the Eagles. I have another cousin now. He plays for the Cowboys. His name's Lance Kearse. He's Javon's nephew, his brother's son. I've had uncles that were really good before me, but they never made it to the league. But they've had like tryouts and shoutouts and stuff. And I grew up in a football environment. Right, I'm from Fort Myers, Florida, the home of Deion Sanders, Colorado. Hey. I saw your 303.
Yeah. I used to live there for a little bit.
Yeah. So from Colorado, Deion Sanders, he's the godfather in Fort Myers. Right? Yeah. He's the best athlete ever come from that place. And just growing up and seeing him, punt returns, kickoffs, defense, picking off, playing wide receiver on both sides. I'm like, I want to be like that guy, right? And growing up, all I did was play football, sandlot football, two-hand touch on the gravel, tackle in the grass, right? Like we played football like until we like from sun up to sundown. I would play quarterback all the time, wide receiver, running back. I would do it all, right? And I was a little bit too big when I was 10 years old. So I went out for my first year, and they put me in with like the 14-year-olds. I'm like, dude, what? I'm 5'3", 10 years old. They put me with the 14 years old. I'm 10. I'm like, they're hitting me hard, bro. I'm like, nah, dude.
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm a child, bro. These guys they have their growth spurts and all that. And then I tried out my freshman year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
I had grew from 10 years old, I was 5'3". From 10 to freshman year, I grew to 6'4". And I was like 180, something like that, 175 or something. I was a big guy. And then dominated, destroyed when I was on the defensive side, you know, because my cousin played in the NFL and they wanted me to replicate his life. They wanted me to play DN. Dude, I'm the fastest. I got hands. Like I'm one of the best in the state for basketball. I catch alley-oops. I dunk on all people. But you got me playing defensive end? What? Like, anyways, so I quit. I was like, man, I don't want to play this no more. I want to play wide receiver. I want to play tight end. Like, I want to throw the ball. And I focused on football. Senior year, I was told that, you know, I went to UCF and I spoke with Coach O'Leary, the head coach for UCF football. And he was like, Lance, if you play your last year, your senior year of high school, you're guaranteed a spot here. You're guaranteed a scholarship. That was in the fall. In the spring, they had a player. His name's Eric Plencher. He died of sickle cell trait. So you see how this all stuff elapsed back. He dies of sickle cell trait in the fall. In the spring, I go visit him in the fall before that spring. And then, but I had already I went to a few practices and I was like, no, I don't want to do it. But I didn't go there, luckily, right? I didn't have to face the same fate that he went through. But then I went to VCU, right? Mm-hmm. But fast forward.
VCU for basketball.
For basketball. They didn't have a football team.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, I'm in Spain. You know, playing.
Wasn't VCU, sorry to cut you off, didn't VCU when you were there, didn't they have like a pretty cool March Madness run? Was that before or after?
Before and after.
Before and after.
Yeah.
So you got unlucky there.
Yeah. I got unlucky. But 2006, my boy Eric Maynard, my point guard, he hit the shot that beat Duke. Dude, he was the man. He was the man on campus, man. Oh man, I was his roommate too.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I'm next to it all, right? And then 2011, when I was supposed to be a senior on that team, the team went far. So it was,
and that's after you transferred.
That was after I transferred, right? So yeah, man, I got to see it. I knew all the plays. They were running plays. I'm like, oh, I already know the play. I already know this, right? But then I played 1 year in Spain, and then Ernest Graham, he hits me up. He's like, Lance, man, I've seen your highlights. And you're pretty big. I think you should play football. Yeah. He's like, do you want to play? I'm like, yeah. He was like, man, we got to get you in the field and see what you made of. Man, that was nice. I was one-handed. You know, at the time I was like 240.
Yeah. You're like 6'6", right?
6'6".
Yeah.
Well, with shoes off, 6'5.5".
Okay.
But 6'6". Yeah. 6'6", 240. I ran like a 4.62. So my last game in Spain was like April 17th. Mm-hmm. I now go in the field like June 6th or something like that. So they give me like a month and a half to prepare from playing professional basketball to football and with the Jaguars. I'm like, dude, like it was hard. Yeah. That transition's hard, man. Because basketball is like, it's a difference. Your body's different. Yeah. You know? But that's how I got involved with football, man. And at practice, I did well. You know, Coach Gus, you know, he raved about me. He wanted me to stay, but, you know, they needed to rebuild and he had pressure on him. So he was like, you know, we don't. Essentially what he said is that we need Jesus, not you. like you're good, you're athletic. You know, I have articles about it and you can hear him talking about me. Athletic, good, but he's like, Lance, you know, I got other players and, you know, politics. You know, I'm like, okay, cool. He said, come back next year. You know, get some experience under your belt. Arena. No, I'm good. No. I'm not to break my body up for what, 30, 40 a year? No, I'm good.
Dude, that football grind is a whole nother world.
Yeah, bro. No, listen, if I'm not practice squad NFL, I'm good.
I feel that.
Yeah. Nah. At least give me $100K so I can start my life, right?
True.
Not 40 and break myself.
True. What's a practice squad? It's like, it's more than $100K, right?
Probably now.
Yeah.
Probably now, but
But I think at that time, this is 2014.
Yeah.
Right. This is 10 years ago. Yeah. But no, I think they get paid very well. But then you have that shield behind your name.
Mm-hmm.
Once you type in your name, then the NFL shield comes up. Well, then that's respect. We're based on what our accomplishments in life, right? As a man, you need someone to vouch for you. Yeah. You don't have...
You need a proof of work.
Yeah, you don't have social proof. The only people who are born with social proof are women, right? Oh, they automatically get like, oh, they're good people just because. Mm-hmm. We have to prove that we're a good person or a competent person. And that proof is...
Your body of work.
Your body of work. Do you have Ferrari chains or Ferrari keychain or Lamborghini or an NFL shield or NBA behind your name? What do you have that said you are an accomplished person? Do you have a degree? Do you have anything that said that you measured yourself up against other people and you came out on top? That's what they value us by. And we don't get that lesson in life, man. We get the sugar coat. Just be a good person. It's like be a good person and accomplished.
Yeah. Yeah, the competency, I mean, we were talking about before and a little bit in this podcast, but that's everything especially in the United States. Like, I don't know if it's as prevalent in other countries, but here in Miami especially, there's a certain, what have you accomplished to kind of measure your worth against.
Yeah, it's more like, before they ask you your name, they ask you what you do.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, hey, what do you do? Oh, now what's your name? It's like, damn, man. Like, and then people make up some complicated things of what they do. Yeah. Right? They make themselves look like gold on paper. And it's like, you have no real experience, bro. But it is what it is. Miami's
you think it's a bad thing or no?
Not necessarily, because Miami's the Mecca. Yeah. And when you come here for that, right,
yeah.
Knowingly or unknowingly, you come here for that, right? So if you want to stay in places where people value for you, well, you stay in the sticks, right? Yeah. Or you move to Spain, right? There's no money in Spain.
Yeah.
That economy, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But great culture, great food, great people, right? But when you're in a place where you make money, well, then you got to act. When in Miami, act like you're Miami. Act like a Miamian, right? And I would never like talk down on anything. I just put things in their proper perspective. Mm-hmm. I have no need to talk down on anyone or anything. No one's good or bad. It is what it is. A lot of people get here and say, Miami's... No, dude, Miami's great for what it's great for. Yeah. You can't expect Barcelona in here or you know what I mean? You got to expect Miami for what it is. You got to be on that wave, that Miami wavelength. Yep. If you're not, you're going to get pushed out or you're going to be considered weird. Mm-hmm. You got to be about your money. And you got to do honest, good business, right, with people, right? You want to network honestly, right, because they'll push you out, right? Or you got to lead people to money. You can't hold people up, right? But no, I love it. I love it. I love it for what it is. Is it my cup of tea? Not necessarily, but I'm going to use it while I'm here, right? I'm not going to hate on it, but am I making moves to go to other places because it's better for me and who I am? Absolutely.
Where is that? Where do you think you want to end up?
To south of Spain.
Oh, let's go.
Malaga. I'm talking about
dude,
DR.
Dude, I spent like 3 months in Malaga about like 4 months ago. Yeah, that place is where it's at, dude. I absolutely love it there. Yeah. That is a great spot.
Yeah, man. How was the vibe? How was the people for you?
Dude, it's funny. It's like a European Miami, I have to say, dude. I have to say.
But you gotta unpack that. What do you mean about Miami? Like, what part of Miami?
I'm gonna break that down. So there's, Marbella.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Marbella is kind of like Miami in almost all aspects.
Yeah.
With like the flashy cars, BBLs, the plastic surgery, like that is European Miami to a T. But then that also has like all the cool stuff, like the amazing gyms and the good food and the networking opportunities and shit. But then outside of that area, which is like a small, pretty concentrated area, it's like a lot of the amazing aspects of Europe with the culture, the food, the lifestyle, and then also the amazing weather of like a Los Angeles or Southern California. So it's a special place. Yeah.
Oh man, listen, man. I've never been able to express myself more so than in Spain. Like just not having that need to prove myself every day, right? Because if I have to I'm competitive. Yeah. If I have to prove myself, I'm gonna prove myself, right? But I prefer not to, because I prefer to be respected just by my good energy and good conversation, right? But no, man, I've never been able to like just chill and relax, except for in Spain, bro. But I lived in northern Spain though.
Where'd you live in Spain?
I lived in Santander, and I lived near San Sebastian.
Dude, I've heard amazing things about San Sebastian.
Really?
Yeah.
Vibe.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
Vibe. I'm talking about the water with the rocks, with the cliffs, and man, that shit's crazy.
Dude, Spain's a special place.
Dude, I want to retire there. I want to retire South Spain or like Canary Islands, but definitely somewhere in South Spain or the islands. Yeah. Those are, I can't, believe it or not, I lived in Egypt.
Oh, dude, I remember you telling me this.
Lived in Egypt. My ex-wife is from Turkey, right? And Turkey and Egypt is the same line. It's literally on the same line, like the same longitudinal line. And just something about that area of the world it lights me up, bro. Yeah. I don't know what it is.
What was living in Egypt like?
It was a vibe, bro. Just chill, low key, like good people, good food. The culture. The mystique of like the pyramids and the temples.
Mystical energy and shit.
Yeah, man. It's just, man. I'll tell you what. My favorite thing to do out there though is sand dunes 4-wheelers.
Oh,
dog. Yo,
that sounds amazing.
I don't know, man. It's when you've been somewhere your whole life. Like I've been in Florida my entire I won't say my entire life, but for the majority of my life, right? I live I'm 35. I've been here probably about 30 years. 30 or 29 of those years. More like 28. I've been here like 28 years, but man, I don't know, man. It's just it gets boring to you, right? You see the same thing in repetition, right? You go out, you see that, you're like, dude, I need something different. I need to switch this up, right? But like I say, it all circles back. You got to have the money to do that. You got to have money to live in different places. So Miami's the best place to do that. Believe it or not, a lot of money's coming through Miami, and people are good. Right? It's just that it's that game times 100 in Miami. Yeah. And if you're not ready for the game, if you're not ready for, hey, how does this equate to money? How does this going to get me here? How are you going to network with me? If you're not used to it and how to play it smooth and not be like give me. If you know how to do that, then you can fit in. It's like you got to kind of play off what's in your brain. Like you got to chill and be suave about it, but be about it. Yeah. Right. And it's not a bad thing to be about money, man. I do not want to pay money the bad way. How are you going to raise a family without money? Yeah. How are you going to take care of people without money? Right. Yeah. Like you gotta have it, but how do you get after it? On some egocentrical way, like fuck everybody. Yeah. I'm on my own. I'm self-made. But you're not no fucking self-made. What are you talking about? Somebody had to help you out.
No one's self-made.
No one's self-made. But love this stuff, man. Yeah. Love it, man. What about you? What were you born, man?
Dude, I was born in California, but I've up until high school, or more like middle school, I moved every 3 years of my life for my dad's job. Yeah. So I've kind of been around the United States quite a bit. And then I've kind of just realized, though, like, Miami is a very interesting spot because, it's a major, very cool city. But then you get, like, there's almost nowhere else outside of maybe, like, LA and San Diego, which have their own problems, that is this amazing place that's also warm. Like, and obviously, as we talked about throughout this whole episode, like, it's so much easier to be healthy in a warm weather climate. So if you want to like get the best of those both worlds, where you're getting like a place that's kind of about it and like get that city feel, and also get those health benefits of living in a warm weather spot in the United States, it's kind of the place to be.
And it's that constant
testosterone hit, that constant motivation. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, there's that energy.
They're just walking
bro.
around everywhere.
Yeah.
You're just like this all the time. You're like,
Yep.
right? Your testosterone's peaking about 30 times a day. Right? You just see women all the time, right? But yeah, man, you know, there's no place like Miami. No, you just got to know what you're doing when you're dealing with Miami, man. You got to know the type of people that Miami attracts, and good and bad.
Yeah.
Right. You know, you got to take the bad with the good, the bitter with the sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Just like every place. Yeah. Right? I've been places and I've seen some stuff that I wouldn't, you know, necessarily accept. Right. Even in Egypt, I wouldn't accept some stuff I saw, or in Spain, I wouldn't accept some stuff I saw. Yeah. And you know, like I say, nothing is absolute, and nothing is absolutely good or bad. Yeah.
What do you think like living in other countries taught you? Because it definitely, like, once you kind of get the contrast of what living in the States is, you definitely learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah. No, that's it. I learned more about myself than anything. Yeah. I knew I was able to understand why I would think a certain way when I would be in a certain place. Mm-hmm. And then when I go to another place, I would think another way. Right? Just by moving to Spain, it was like, damn, the people cool as shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, why are people talking to me and offering me things all the time? Like, you know, I've had families offer me their keys to their car. I'm like, bro, like, no, bro, I don't need your car. I'm good. Like, yeah, but bro, you know, you're a good person. You know, you shouldn't, because I prefer walking, right? Mm-hmm. You know, and my gym was close to our apartments. It's like, bro, you know, you should get this. Nah, bro. But just having people speak and see you and say hello, much different than Miami. You know, here people really don't even really speak. Yeah. Like, they look at you and then, right? It's like that when you're here, it's almost like you're like, dude, well, do I need to be that way? Right? But had I not lived in other countries, I'm like, that's just not a normal way you should act. Yeah. Right? It gave me more of a sense of, this is not reality of how people operate, but the fact that we're in Miami, people operate this way because they have to, right? Someone probably tried to sell them something, or someone probably tried to, you know, do them over in business or something. Mm-hmm. So people are always walking around on edge in there. Yeah. Even though we're in a warm environment, people are cold, right? Yeah. It's not a warm environment like how it is in Spain. Mm-hmm. People are warm, right? It's a cold place, but you got to kind of understand why it's like that. And you can't blame the people, you blame the place, because it's a tropical New York. Mm-hmm. It is tropical New York, man.
That's a great way to put it. It is a tropical New York.
It's tropical New York. I love it. But had I not lived in other places, I would think that something's wrong with me. Mm. Like, damn, well, why aren't people talking back? Why aren't people saying hello back? It's just people here, right? Mm-hmm. Or if I go somewhere else, like, you know, that's people there. So now I can hold a way of living like 10 times in my head, because I've lived in so many places. People in China, they live a different way. People in Egypt live a different way. In Jamaica,
did you go to China?
Yeah, I played a little bit in China.
Oh, how long was that?
Oh man, 3 weeks. But then I had to get on the flight, man, because that food was trash. Listen. I don't like talking bad about anybody, but man,
that wasn't your spot.
I couldn't deal with the food, man. It was so much oil.
Really? Oh yeah.
Dude, I don't like oil, man. Oil.
I'm with you on that one, dude.
And everything has oil. I'm like, everything. But
like
listen,
the canola oil, that shit is, man.
It can be canola. I don't know what it is, but it's something, man. I just couldn't do it. I lost like 15 pounds in like 3 weeks.
Oh my God.
And I'm trying to play in the CBA team, you know, the highest league over there.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah. What was the fans like and shit out there, though? Are they? How was it like in Europe in general? Were people like, or out of this overseas in general? Were people pretty? Like the fans and stuff, they're pretty passionate out there.
Yeah. You've seen the football, the soccer.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're super, dude. They're passionate about like the 5th league teams.
Yeah,
right. Like people just want to see people compete and be excited, and they want to be places, and they want to drink, and they want to be involved.
They love an excuse to just like
party,
get the community together and party.
Dude, dude, they'll use anything. Dude, they'll make up a holiday to have fun, bro.
Yeah.
And and they don't necessarily care so much about money out there.
Yeah.
So then the drawback over there now, let me be honest, let me not, talk about Miami. The drawback over there is that people really don't like working.
Yeah. No one's really ambitious.
And it's like, but how I grew up, everybody is after it. Yeah. And I want to make a lot of money. And I'm trying to do business and y'all don't want to do business.
Yeah.
Like, damn, right? So it's every place is how it is, man.
Yeah.
Right?
There's drawbacks and there's good things.
But you gotta love it for all. You gotta love it all for what it is.
Yep.
Right? And China was just weird for me, bro.
Yeah.
It was just weird. Jamaica's strange too. Even though I'm a Jamaican citizen,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Jamaican American, I'm a dual citizen. Jamaica's strange too, bro. Like, people have everything nature has to offer, and they don't want it. They do not want it.
What does that mean?
So, herbs are the healing of the nation, Revelations 22:2. I'm not Christian or anything, but I love the Bible, right? Herbs are the healing of the nation, and they have every herb in the world to make themselves healthy. They don't like it. They don't like eating the fruit off the tree.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like eating the mangoes.
They kind of reject that natural lifestyle, even though they're like so into it, so in it.
Man, it's the saddest thing you'll ever see in your life, man. And I'm not talking about. I don't want to make this a bad thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to make this a episode about me talking bad about places, right? But I have to tell the truth, right? I love the people, their warmness, their happiness. But I'm telling you, man, they prefer KFC.
Mm-hmm.
Their KFC is like the #1 KFC in the world. I forget. I think it's in Kingston or something. Mm-hmm. But my people live in Clarendon near Maypen. Maypen has like a KFC and it's downtown. Oh my Lord. It was wrapped around like 3 times around the building for lunch. Like, what? Yeah. The KFC? It can't be that good. Like, come on, guys. Like it's KFC. It's just chicken. It's just fried chicken.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. But it's that's one of the sad things that I saw there. But on the other end, my family's from there. Mm-hmm. My dad's from there. They have access to a lot. When I go there, I'm in the trees all the time.
Yeah, sick.
I'm more uncivilized than everybody out there when I go out there. Shirt off, I'm in everybody's tree, no shoes, sandals. I'm getting everything I got to get from nature.
Love it. Yeah.
Right? And they're looking at me like, dude, who is this guy? Like, he's more like I look like Crocodile Dundee or something out there, bro. I look wild out there. I like the crocodile hunter out there.
That's so funny. Do you feel like that in Miami sometimes too?
I do.
Yeah.
I do because, I'll get fruit off the tree and walk around and eat it. And people look at me crazy. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine doesn't have a 9 on it. It doesn't have a 4, a POU on it.
Yeah. Can you explain that for people? Like the difference in the barcode stuff with organic and that whole world?
Yeah. Yeah. So organic is typically, it starts with a 9, right? Local is 6. Local could mean anything.
Yeah.
Right. 4 and 3s are conventional.
Okay.
8 are GMO. All right. So those barcodes will tell you what you're consuming, but keep in mind, everything isn't by the rules, man.
Yeah.
Like it can say organic, but there's elements of organic, right?
Yeah.
It's a sad thing, but I think it's.
Where do you make sure you get your stuff from?
Well, I got to play by the rules like everyone else, right?
Of course.
But typically, farmers markets and stuff like that, that's typically where I go, right? I feel like those people are going to be the most honest.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, they can be lying too.
Yeah.
Right. But do I make that effort? Yes, I do. Yeah. Right. May I be believing in a lie? Probably so. Yeah. but I will put my dollar on people who are raising their own stuff over going to Publix.
Yeah, no doubt.
Or I go to Whole Foods. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I go to Whole Foods, but I would prefer going out there when I can. So on the weekends, I'm definitely grabbing my stuff. Yeah. And throughout the week, if I need to grab something quick, well, then I got to go there because keep in mind, it's a convenience store. Everything is convenient.
Yeah.
How can I go to a convenience store and look for organic? that doesn't work. It's a convenience store. You have to inconvenience yourself to eat the highest foods, which means you have to grow it in your backyard.
Yep.
That's the most inconvenient. Inconvenience means healthy. Convenient typically means unhealthy. So we just have to be honest with what we're doing. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're believing in a lie, tell yourself, this is a lie, but I would just want to believe in it. Like, I know sometimes I believe in a lie. Like, I know that I'm being lied to, but sometimes it feels good to be lied to and believe a lie, right?
What's an example of that?
Example? Well, just going to the store and saying, this prepackaged whatever is organic. It's like, yeah, but I'm in that industry now where I'm making my own products.
Yep.
As long as 75% of the ingredients in that product is organic, then it's all organic.
Yeah.
Right?
What have you learned by making your own products about?
Oh man. So organic isn't necessarily organic across the board, right? Mm-hmm. So you have different potencies. You have an 80% potency, a 50%, a 30% potency. It can be the same product where yours can have organic hemp seeds or something like that, right? But it can be 80% potency. I can have 50%, but it's all organic.
Mm-hmm. So there's no difference in the sense of identifying them.
Yeah. And there's no difference. But in your mind, you're thinking, oh, they have organic and they have organic, but his organic is higher than my organic. Yeah. Your organic is higher than mine.
There's levels to it.
There's levels to it, right? Oh, man. It's knowing, there certain things. So let's say you have Harmless Harvest. I'm not talking about Harmless Harvest, but I doubt that they are all organic. Mm-hmm. They have something. I think they're putting vitamin C concentrate in it. Because if you look at the back, it's all organic ingredients. But tell me anything organic that you've gotten in your life that lasts for a week or two. Nothing.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Organic coconut water lasting for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, months, 2 months, 3 months. Organic? Come on. Let's be honest, man. Mm-hmm. And just talking with my manufacturer and just letting them know, hey, I want to mimic this product, but I want to put XYZ in it. And man, I don't think that can work. Why? Well, they're doing this and that and that. I don't want to tell people, but yeah, man, not everybody's playing by the rules, man. We think they are. We think they're honest, but keep in mind, if you make a business, you're making a business to make money. You have to stay. There's a threshold. There's metrics that you have to hit in order to make money, pay out people so they can continue working to pay money. Right? If the product is not times 4 or 5 or even more, well, you shouldn't even produce the product. Mm-hmm. Just knowing that, it's well. Yeah.
Most people, so much cheaper and the margins are so much better when you're making shit.
Yeah.
And the supplement industry is it's so it's such a gray area, and I feel like it's so unregulated that you can make a lot of claims and say a lot of shit about your supplements that kind of isn't reality.
I know a lot of people out there doing some weird stuff, but I'm not going to say much because I'm not here to out people's companies. I know they have to make monies, and when you out people's companies, and you put people at jeopardy. But there's a lot of heavy metals. There's a lot of microplastics. There's a lot of everything, bro. And you got to be on your A game when it comes to. It's getting to a point where if you're not on your A game about everything, let's say diet, you're on top of that. But even if you're on top of it, there's still something in it that's going to make you sick. Mm-hmm. Because you can't get the top at all times. You literally got to be next to a farm or have your own farm and know the people or cut it yourself. But even at that point, you don't know what plane just flew over your, you know what I mean? It's wild, bro.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is you build up a certain type of resiliency from being pretty dialed on most of the aspects of it. And when you're focusing on detox and sweating a lot and you're able to mitigate a lot of that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, dude, there's so much kind of fuckery, for lack of a better word, going on with everything.
Yeah. That's why I don't believe in absolutes, like I told you in the beginning.
Yeah.
You have tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have your tiers of health. And some people think that it's all just healthy or not. And there's tiers. There's tiers in the organic. There's tiers in the conventional. There's tiers in the. There's tiers. Everything's tiered out, right? And
I don't know what tier or what I don't know what type of diet is better than the other. I know that I've perfected what I do, right? But yeah.
And what type of products do you have? You have a protein powder?
Yep.
Is it just the protein powder, or you have other products?
So we're manufacturing the protein powder right now.
Yeah.
It's getting tough because it's, I'm trying to get the highest quality.
Yeah.
And then when they come back with like, oh, this is going to cost you $20 a bag.
Mm-hmm.
What?
And then you got to sell it for
$60?
Yeah.
Who's going to buy that? Because that's minimal $60, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to do organic coffee.
Nice.
I'm trying to do, a bunch of different chocolate bars and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so much stuff that I'm trying to do, but when you see the game, you're like, damn, now I see why people put whatever in their stuff. It's like, damn, like how do I develop a team if I'm only making 3 times the return or 4 times the return? That's hard. Who are you gonna pay out of a 4 times the return? Mm-hmm. So this is when my business mind comes in. It's like, right, what do? Do I go away from doing this, right, or do I now just give knowledge, right? Do I now focus on my courses talking about health and sunbathing and all that stuff? Because I don't want to muddy the waters. I don't want to continue to mud the waters. I want to put out something that's great. Yeah. Right? How do I now be true to myself and also provide things for people? Do I put out the highest quality and say, hey, it cost me $20, but could you pay $100 for me to make it times 5? Right? To get half the quantity that another brand is charging you $40 for?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if I do that, he's greedy.
Yeah.
So
there's a whole narrative with that. Yeah, so things are expensive.
So
because they're high quality.
So that's why, like I say, I try to tell the truth on all sides. Yeah. It's impossible though. It's impossible to satisfy everybody. Yeah. Right. I tell the truth, the good and the bad. Right. A lot of people, they don't want to hear any bad. And then if you speak bad, then you're bad because you're speaking bad of other people. It's like, no, I'm telling both sides. Yeah. I would never tell you that I'm all good and all bad. That is, come on.
Things are nuanced.
Nuanced.
Yeah.
Everything. And people who convince you that everything is one way, they're misleading you and they're doing it for a reason. Right. And either they're doing it or you just want to be lied to.
Yeah. So where you fallen with that stuff? So have you been just focusing a lot on content and that whole realm?
Oh man, I tell you, believe it or not, man, I've been in a dilemma, right? Of
trying to figure that whole thing out.
Just going away from making products, right? Unless I can get so most of these people, you got to drop $100K, $200K, $300K per product. Right, in order to get those breaks. And if you're not dropping 100, 200, 300K, well then, it's not even worth getting in the game, right? Can I get 200, 300, 400K? Possibly, right? But will it sell? Don't know yet.
Yeah,
right.
And that's such a big risk.
Right.
You have to put up all that money.
Right. It's like, you're at that place. Can I create a culture behind it and blow it up and make it look great and, make sure that heavy metals are low and all this stuff? I haven't seen one product that did it. I haven't. Every product has some drawback. Yeah. Right. AG1, everyone loves AG1 greens and all that. You've seen what came out about them, right? I
haven't seen what came out, but I looked into it on my own because like when I was kind of in the thick of things of like trying to fix the skin issue. Yeah. I was like pretty dialed, but I was still getting issues. And I was like, what's going on? So I kind of broke everything down. And I was like, let me look into athletic greens a little bit. And there was like soy in it. And I don't think my body reacts good with soy. And so I was like, shit. And then I started hearing people talk about like the quality of the like type of herbs and stuff that they're putting in there. And it's like kind of getting a lot of the lowest quality shit. Yeah. What came out though about them?
Oh, just heavy metals.
Heavy metals? Yeah. That makes sense.
But everything has it. You know what I mean? Like,
it's part of like the manufacturing process, honestly.
That's why you can't look at one brand and say, oh, this brand is doing it. It's like, they're all doing it.
It's not like they're evil.
And it's not just AG1. It's like, you guys happen to look up AG1 because AG1 is the top dog. Let's look at the bottom dog. Oh, they're doing it too, right? It's like, when University of Miami was cheating, with their sports and all that. Every school was doing it, right? So that's why it's hard for me to talk about people, because it's like people want to be lied to and they want this stuff. It's like baseball, like Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire,
steroid stuff,
steroid era, right? People love that era of baseball.
Yeah, it was the
best. See,
they were hitting a lot of home runs.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
You
don't want this. You don't want to know that they're taking steroids. You want to believe that they're not taking steroids, but you want to love and enjoy the entertainment, right? But now, hindsight, that they were taking steroids. But when you were in it, you were having so much fun.
I know.
All right, you just want to be lied to.
Yeah,
and that's every industry, bro. Unless you're probably doing like real estate, and I'm pretty sure there's something going on there.
Yeah, true. Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Cutting corners on prices with things and getting lower quality stuff to make it all the price down, and then the house gonna degrade. Time. Like all that shit.
So, bro, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news and say, I don't want to be nihilistic, bro.
Yeah.
I just want to tell the truth, right? And it sucks sometimes because it's like, damn, dude, like, but I'm gonna look like the bad guy if I tell the truth. Like, fuck, bro. I don't want to continue looking like the bad guy.
Yeah.
I just want to give people sound information. That's it. And like I say, I've had a dilemma with making products, or just with it all, right? You kind of got to live with what you do and what you provide, and cut your losses. And I see it at the end of the day now, and I don't want to sound like a politician, but I think every day I'm starting to sound like a politician to myself. No, really though, bro. It's about how above zero am I? Am I a +1, +2? Like, what net positive am I? All right. If I'm the highest I could possibly be, then great. I can sleep with myself. Right. But that goes into politics. That's how they run politics. It's the sacrificial few. Right. If I killed 1,000 people to save 1 million, they're willing to do that because you're willing to pay the consequences. If it costs you 1 million, because you're going to get sued for 1 million, but you made 1 billion, you'll go with it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's all of life, man. Shout out. Pfizer game, right?
Yeah.
But I get it, man. Like, people like to talk about people in positions, but if you put those people in those same positions,
they're doing the same shit.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. They're doing the same shit. So, yeah, man, I'll do it. A lot of people not going to like me after this one.
No, dude,
a lot of people not going to fuck with me after this one.
I so disagree. I think it's the opposite, dude, because I think everyone's so beginning since like post 2020, beginning to be so aware of how this whole game is going on, and they're just like, I feel like everyone's nowadays like looking for answers, even people who like you wouldn't think would be invested or nuance or realizing all this stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
But because of like what they saw with the health industry and during COVID times, it's like now they're like, shit, what else is going on? What is this whole like what's happening from the top down, And there's a lot of stuff going on, whether it's food, pharma, water, and water is a whole nother equation. Like
clothes.
Yeah, clothes, polyester, estrogen.
You keep going. Keep going down the line, right? And
I know.
It's like you're running yourself crazy trying to control all those.
Yeah, you can't be too neurotic too, because the nocebo effect is real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, you'll mess yourself up,
oh,
right?
Yeah. And you all kind of, I fell victim to it at times where it's like, you get a little too neurotic and you're like, you need to just chill out, dude. You can't care about everything every second. Like, can't be perfect.
You get sick from that.
Yes, the nocebo.
You get sick
real.
from that.
Yeah.
From just thinking about so much craziness at all times.
Oh yeah, and thinking knowing the water that you're drinking isn't good for you versus if you didn't know that water wasn't good for you, it's gonna do more harm when you know it's bad for you because the brain's playing a role. Like there's a lot of shit going on.
The biology of belief, man. What's his name talks about that? Bruce Lipton. You know Bruce Lipton?
Yeah.
He talks about the nocebo. I think he created it, the nocebo.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think so. I think so. I don't know too much about his work, but Yeah, that stuff's crazy.
Yeah, yo, bro, I've been down a lot of rabbit holes since 2009.
Yeah.
Since I was in the whole situation, and I've accepted life and reality for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I do not try to make it all roses and peaches and keen. I try to make sense of things that I don't. It's not even that I don't like, because it is what it is. How can you, like, how can I like or dislike the sun? It is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, that's the game. There's no liking or dislike.
Yeah.
There's no emotional filter that I got to put certain things through. That's just how it is. You live and you die.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that I got to live and die. What? No, you just live and die. Like, there's no hate.
Yeah.
There's no hate. So having
all a part of it.
But having to talk to people who live that way, which the majority of people who consume knowledge on social media, they live through that lens of, how does this make me feel? What do you mean feel? What is that? What does that mean? I don't get that.
I know.
Does it work or not? Is that how it has been through eternity? And you're trying to fix it? Okay, well then show me a system that works better.
Yeah.
I want to see it. No, it doesn't exist. It only exists in your brain. It only exists in ideal, right? It's not realistic. But, that's just me tying this all back, because I don't think people are evil or things are evil. It's like a necessary thing that must happen.
Yeah.
Right? Or you can call it necessary evil, whatever it is, right? However you see it, right? It just is. And, you can't change the world. You can change the world, but what you got to do is first master it. You can't change something that you don't know. You got to know the ins and out of it. I can't change a system that I've never been a part of. See what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
The best people who can affect the medical system is someone who's been through it or works for it, who understands it fully, and you can find the flaws.
Yeah.
But even by manipulating those things, you're going to create more flaws.
There's unintended consequences with everything. You know what teaches you that so good is what we were talking about before with, like, going through that, whether it's like the autoimmune or the sickle cell. You have to learn that, like we were saying before, that emotional control, or that just, like, it is what it is. Like, there's no other mindset that really gets you through it, but that you're just accepting it.
Life, man.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good place for us to end it.
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Awesome, brother. This was great.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir.